I had a conversation with a first responder. And as usual, those of you who know me, the first thing I do is encourage them, as I do with the military when I meet them. Interestingly enough, though, they don't meet me and encourage me. They don't need to, actually, because their whole job is spent dedicated to my protection and encouragement by what they do. So the onus is really on me to say, thank you for what you do, because what you do is for me. And I thought about it in the conversation when they asked, what do I do? And I told them about my ministry. Do you realize the table got turned? And what was the comment? Oh no, sir. It is I who should be thanking you. That's never happened. Can you imagine that? The first responder, the police and the fire guy, want to shake my hand when they found out what I do. See, it was easy to see what they do. They wear a badge and uniforms. Oh no. Interesting. And I said, well, no one ever thanks me, even the people that I serve. I said, DA, I know how to thank you because I know that you're dedicated and what you have to deal with every day. I said, you know how few people know what we have to deal with every day? But the police and the firemen did know, because the priests and the pastors and the ministers have to show up when somebody is splattered on the freeway or a partner gets shot. Many of the police officers I know have called me in the middle of the night. Steve, I need to talk. They just came from a teenage suicide, a horrible incident. I'm there for other men who are like me, who actually do sacrifice and do it joyfully and willingly. And they said, even though I'm not a police officer, you relate to us because of what you do. And they don't ask for thanks like I don't ask for thanks. So it's very seldom that Yeshua ran across people that thanked him. Prophets run across people that realize the benefit of having them in their life, like the Shunammite woman. Oh, it's the opposite in America. They see the men of God as their servants, slaves even. They're not grateful for them at all. They use them like magic wands when they want a blessing or need protection from something that they want. They don't realize our job, like a police officer, who will just as easily protect you from a killer or use his baton over your head when you're acting like the killer. The ministers of God, the men that sacrifice their lives, are seldom appreciated or thanked. They're just yelled at. Hey, this is your job. You better do this. My tax dollars pay for this. My tithe pays for this. Nasty, evil. It's quite sad in the West, in the Western mindset and in Christianity, your view of God. Because you don't recognize the war and the battle, nor do you appreciate what God's police and firemen do. And the burden they carry is exponentially greater than anything that you carry. But you can't relate to that. That's why Paul preached about it in the 11th chapter. When they started to get arrogant at Paul about his work, and he had to, for a moment, put them in their place. You see, there's a reason why God hires, calls, appoints, and anoints shepherds over the sheep. And there's a reason why we have to bear that burden, because you are sheep. And we're just looking for the few that break out, because you only need a few to break out. Anyway, some man said to me the other day about Minnie, and I was in Israel. You should be famous. They heard my songs. You should be famous. Why aren't you famous? Well, you know what famous is? It's you telling people about what you say should be famous. Well, how many people have you told about my channel? How many hundreds of people do you email with my podcasts and my songs? Well, you do when you talk about surf spots, where to hike, where to get drugs, where to drink, where to gamble, where to play, what movie to watch. Oh, don't get people talking about their favorite pizza place or taco place if you're in California, or shawarma or falafels if you're in Israel. One man couldn't stop talking about the falafel place that he was so crazy about, but he never talked anything about the Torah or a man of God in his life. Celebrities, actors, politicians. That's what's on the minds of men where God is not their God. But the police officer, the fireman, the military. Paul famously told Timothy, his young disciple, don't live like the rest of them. I didn't mentor you, disciple you, for you to act, live, talk, walk like the rest of them, Timothy. Don't live like a civilian. Live like a military man. Lots of what Paul uses are military lingo. And no doubt, he was a Roman citizen. It's a military culture and their thinking. This is why Yeshua said of all the people that impressed him, it was a military guy. And I get that because that happens to me all the time. Those of you who walk with me already know it. And I work desperately to get all of you to start acting and talking and carrying yourself in a more military fashion. Some of you have come a long way. Some of you have come a little way. Some of you haven't come along at all. But that's the bad news. The good news, you're hearing this podcast. You're still alive. You may yet change or not. So, with no excuse, use the time Adonai has given you and get mission-minded. Not me-minded, mission-minded. Pray for the first responders, the messengers of God, the police, the firemen, the doctors and nurses, the military, the prophets and pastors, disciples, the witnessers of the Lord. Because we are meant to run into buildings with fires, and we are meant to take the brunt of a criminal, and we are meant to protect, rescue, and if need be, to take the baton of God and destroy the works of the evil one.